Hey, so I honestly did not know I was gonna be here this season for Love Island. You guys know I had a couple videos last season, but after this episode 21, I have to say something. Like, I think the majority of the people are on the same side as me. There are way too many people in here still on Casey's side. And not only that, but on TT's side, I have a huge list of things that I have written down. But based off of my research, I'm gonna go back from the beginning to really spell it out for some of you guys who are still on this man Casey's side. And if you're still on his side after this video, yikes. Okay, so number one, gaslighter. He is a gaslighter. That is his biggest character flaw. And you know what? It wouldn't be fun in this video if I didn't come with receipts. So, for starters, Anaya said multiple times that she did not want to limit Casey's experience here. Multiple times that conversation was had, and Casey kind of tried to paint the picture like that wasn't the case. And not only did he gaslight Anaya, but he also gaslit the public in this process. I'm going to go back and play for you guys some clips of Anaya saying that she did not want for this to happen.
Be honest, like who he wants to talk to, who he wants to explore with, or like even how he feels with me, because it's just like if he doesn't really feel like anything with me, I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna explore my options too. I don't know.
Here's the other time.
Like to explore her. You don't feel like you have regrets or like I'm limiting you. I just don't want it to be into a point where it feels like I'm limiting like your experience.
And then vice versa for you too.
Yeah.
Casey could have easily said right there that he felt like he was being limited in his options when Anaya expressed multiple times that she wanted Casey to explore and not for her to feel like she's limiting him in any way. And instead, he responded with, yes, I agree, and vice versa for you too. He doesn't do that. So he says one thing to Anaya and then says something else when he's not talking to Anaya. All right. Also, once again, he paints her narrative to be something that it's not. She will speak one thing to Casey. Casey will take her words and flip it and turn it to the exact thing that he's actually doing. So in this conversation, Anaya explains to Casey that he jokes a lot. He's laughing always constantly in her face. She says the following.
I love joking with you and being happy with you. That's one of the best things about you. And I get fine when you're super nonchalant, but when I want you to be serious with me, I'm not saying that you need to change your whole personality, which I never want you to change your whole personality. All I was asking was 5 minutes of a serious conversation.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like completely fine to ask.
I understand what you're saying, and even when it's a serious topic, you want me to be serious.
Yeah,
I get what you're trying to say.
Okay.
And this is what he proceeds to say to the boys in the very next conversation that we see with him.
You want me to be serious all the time.
She's very chill and serious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I can do that, but that's just not fun. It just seems like a fucking job at that point.
I don't really feel good that like she didn't really understand where I was coming from. Like I can't change myself for you, even if I wanted to. Like this is me. I can't fake who I am to just make you feel comfortable.
Mind you, they just had a conversation. In that convo, he said, I understand exactly what you're saying. You want me to be this way. You want me to be serious for 5 minutes. You're not saying you want my whole personality to change. Then he hops to the boys, says that she's actually saying the opposite, then gets in the confessional and says that he doesn't understand why she couldn't see where he was coming from. Are we in the same reality right now, Casey? You take information, you switch it for the narrative that fits you, knowing damn well that's not the truth. This is a theme throughout the show, okay? Even in that clip, we can hear the underworkings for what is going to come in the future in Casa, right? Okay, in this episode, we heard how he basically calls TT easy, essentially. He says that he has to work. He had to put in effort towards him and Anaya's, couple. And with TT, it was effortless. So it's funny because in that very clip that I just played for you guys, he basically says that he can't be serious for 5 minutes during a serious conversation because at that point it just feels like a job. It just feels like it's too much work for him. So as we see, Casey clearly doesn't like putting in effort. He's the prize. He wants to be the one that is being chased after, being sought after. He's not putting in effort. His woman is the one putting in effort. Hence why he was quite literally foaming at the mouth when TT came in the villa talking about my man, KC, KC, KC. He can't get past the fact that she's clearly a Casa girl trying to get in the villa. No, a girl is finally choosing me. And guys, I'm not saying that a man can't want to feel sought after too. Obviously, that's important. But when it's going on the scale where the man is asking for way more effort out of the woman, something's not right here. The gaslighter and the manipulation king literally is sitting here trying to basically make Anaya crazy. She was going crazy in that villa, y'all. Mind you, the only reason why Anaya ever brought anything up is not because she was insecure, like y'all wanted to make it seem out to be. It's that people were bringing stuff to her attention because they peeped Casey's behavior behind the scenes, how he would talk about her behind her back, and when it's just the boys, and they would bring it out in in the public, and I would be like, hold on a second, something ain't right here, something's not adding up. And then because she said something about it, she's doing too much, it's too much, and she's just this, just imagining it all. And like, come on, y'all, she was the safe option, she was the safe option all along. But instead of being truthful to Anaya, Casey wants to say this.
I just had a conversation with Zach and Kata, and we were talking about the challenge and everything. And when I was talking to them, I was expressing how I don't feel comfortable feeling like a safe option. That makes me feel really shitty. And I feel like you were only trying to stay with me because it was a safe option.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
I don't want to ever feel like a safe option. Like, I just want to be like, oh yeah, I'm 100% sure. Like, I really want to be with her. Like,
Okay, I think you're confusing first option with safe.
If you guys didn't catch that, at the end there, Casey says, I think you're confusing first option with safe option, okay? But here's the thing, Casey. If Anaya is your first option, how come when you get to Casa, you say the following? You had nothing in common with her, not happy for her, and you literally don't give a F about her, okay? You spoke life into her every day, and you find TT more attractive than Anaya. So anyone out there that's still defending Casey, at this point, it comes to a point where you have to ask yourself, are these comments that you think that someone who actually has someone as their first option would say about that person, whether they're in the room or not? Like, come on, y'all. Come on. We had to start thinking like this man did not like Anaya. She was his safe option. Zach was right. Bryce was right. They were only trying to warn Anaya. Anaya was picking up what they were putting down. And instead of just believing the words that are coming out of Casey's mouth without actions to back it up, she's questioning him, as she should. I mean, the man tried to explore soul multiple times. He said, literally, who forgot about the comment, oh, I feel blessed, whenever Soul walked in. You don't say things like that if you're considering your part, like the couple that you're in at the moment. One comment maybe can slip by at the moment, but when you have comments time and time again, don't think we forgot about that grandma comment because she wasn't putting down as far as you thought. Mind you, they were actually doing stuff in bed, maybe just making out, but that's all Anaya was comfortable doing. As she said, she wasn't going to throw her cooters to someone like a weekend. She's not TT.
Anaya and KC.
What is this then, Casey?
Melody.
Trying to paint the narrative like Anaya is the one who doesn't like him. The whole time it's the other way around. He felt disrespected at the fact that Anaya didn't choose him on day one. Mind you, all the girls didn't choose him on day one. Mind you, he didn't even choose Anaya. We're just going based off of what he said he would have done. We don't know that is the case. So to stand 10 tones down on that and to keep bringing it up time and time again, it's giving insecure man. What you thought Anaya was, or what you were trying to paint Anaya to be, is actually what you were, Casey. He's a liar. In tonight's episode, Melanie chimed in and tried to say to Casey, hold on a second, you did want to explore Soul, and you only didn't do that because Sincere got him. And he says, no, that's not true. That's not true. I didn't explore any bombshells. Casey, roll the tapes, because what is this conversation then?
I never showed my hand. And then, Sincere started hooping, and it was like,
he was the only one in the court.
He was the only one shooting. He was the only one shooting shots. Every time I was gonna pull you, like he just got there, and I was like, okay, well, it just happens.
If you guys didn't catch that, Casey was saying to Soul herself that the reason why he didn't pull her is because Sincere always beat him to it. And at that point, it was just better to stay safe with his safe option, Anaya. And this is why, even though you try to paint the narrative that you actually want to stay with your first option, Anaya, so much, why Zach and Bryce feel the need to say this.
The role of the hero, but is actually the villain. Some act a big talk of commitment and treasures, but in reality, their intentions seem hidden.
What it sounds like Bryce said there was that even though they have a big talk of being committed to their partner and treasuring her, in fact, his true intentions are hidden. So when Anaya hears stuff like that, is she just supposed to take it on the chin, not say anything about it, even though her man was just being called out for his intentions being impure in their couple? She's just supposed to be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like, y'all, come on now. Well, I know this comment in particular is heavily debated on what exactly Casey meant by this, but I think given everything that we've seen come out of Casey's mouth, he meant exactly what he said by this comment.
If they didn't vote me in that shit, would have been hot. I'm the only person that stayed in that relationship.
So really, his true colors are showing here, y'all. He's saying exactly what he meant. He would have been hot because he believes him and Anaya should be at the top of the couplings simply because they've been with each other from day one, which to me implies that he's not really here for the right reasons. He's staying there with Anaya because, once again, she's the safe option in order to make it into the end. America voting him at the top is giving him a good indication that, he's chosen the right person to stay with for now until otherwise. I actually want to do a count of how many times Casey mentions that there was no one behind his door on the first day. Like, the way that this man held a vendetta against that is insane. Guys, we've seen a season in season 6, Serena and Cordell, the winners of Love Island USA. Same exact situation happened. Serena did not choose Cordell at first. It was a slow burn, and they ended up having the best connection of the entire season. But we did not hear Cordell constantly over and over and over and over again rubbing it in Serena's face how she didn't pick him at the beginning. Why? Because he knew that Serena grew that connection with him. And every time since then, Serena chose Cordell. So why can't Casey think the same? Maybe it's because Casey is projecting. He knows that he genuinely didn't want to pick Anaya. That was a default. That was a default decision. He ended up with her and he was going to use that against her at every chance that he got. Making disgusting comments like, this is exactly what the F life is supposed to be about when the girl bombshells are coming in and shaking some booty. 5 minutes into Casa, he says, I felt some chemistry with that little nurse. Okay, but he clearly respects TT. Let me remind you guys of a conversation that Casey had with Anaya just a couple days before when he was talking about exploring a possible other option outside of their couple and the reasons why he wouldn't do that.
We literally built something up. It's been like a while now, and I wouldn't just throw it away for a day. A day.
Okay, so Casey says, I wouldn't throw away our connection over an attractive girl that I've only spent a date with. It hasn't even been a day. Mind you, he got to Casa and started making these crazy remarks about just throwing his connection away, seemingly in a day. He kissed TT that very night after the challenge. That sounds like exactly what you said you weren't going to do is what you did. Casey, you're a liar. Okay, now let's get to Casey and Anaya's recoupling for this episode, okay? So I'm only gonna say a couple things about this because this whole last part of the episode really had me going up and down in my emotions, and I kind of wanted to jump through the screen. Look, this is gonna be a pretty nuanced take, but I personally think that Trinity, she really didn't need to ask that question in that moment. Now, I think she could have waited until after the recoupling to directly ask Casey that question, like, hey, like, why did you say this thing about me and Bryce when you clearly weren't even true in your own connection? So, to count us out is kind of crazy, right? She could have said that same thing. It just wasn't the time. However, Ariana said, go ahead, right? So Trinity had the go ahead to then ask that question. And that question was aimed clearly for KC. So at this point, why is TT talking? There was no reason for her to jump in. I've heard some people argue like, oh, well, TT was the one she had the floor to begin with and then Trinity cut her off. Actually, that's not what happened. Trinity said something not to them. She just, had an impulsive reaction and said something out loud, but she clearly wasn't meaning to actually interrupt, which is why she said, you know what, I'm sorry, stop. And then Ariana said, you know what, go ahead, Trinity. So Trinity was like, the host of the show is telling me to speak. I'm going to ask my question to KC. And then TT comes in all hot, defending KC. And mind you, all her points were valid. Why are you defending a man that you just met 3 days ago? 3 days ago. We've been here for 3 weeks and we're speaking on our friend's behalf. We're genuinely concerned about this man's actions and asking him. And you're coming in and butting in as the new girl that quite literally has just know your place. Know a time and a place, okay? We're not saying that TT has no right to talk. This just wasn't the moment and she needed to read the room, okay? So for her to take it from 0 to 100 real quick and call Trinity a little girl is incredibly disrespectful. In fact, those are actually fighting words. So the fact that, I did feel for Trinity in this moment because that's crazy work. I think that TT was very much provoking. TT knows exactly what she's doing. She sewed herself in Casa before she even came over here, y'all. And there's people out here actually defending TT's behavior. Okay, y'all. Be so for real. Be so for real. Mind you, TT's calling Trinity a little girl, but Casey's the same age as Trinity. So what does that say about you, TT? What does that say about you? Okay, she's weird. She's a weirdo. And then she's over there smirking in the background. Like, do you feel good about yourself? Like, you got a trash man. You are walking away with a trash man. What exactly do you have to celebrate here? You just look foolish and dumb and easy. As in Casey's own words, you were effortless. that is the end of this analysis. I'm up here literally at like 5 o'clock in the morning on this spiel right now because I've just been up since the episode looking at different people's, takes on it. And I welcome all opinions. So all opinions are welcome in the comments. I just, remind you that you be respectful, okay? Respectful over here. At the end of the day, this is a TV show. I know we all have opinions and we can get a little bit heated, but it's never that deep. So keep your comments to a minimum, spice level, and they'll stay up. If not, they will be deleted. So if you liked my take, comment a pink heart. And if you did not like my take, comment a palm tree. All right, bye.